What does it mean to be offended? Are we allowed to cause offence? Should we be? I'm a left-winger, a lefty, a socialist. I believe in fairness, equal rights, and a compassionate approach to life, to politics, and to the human condition. But does that make me a snowflake? Does that mean I get offended at the drop of a hat? Does that mean I can't take criticism? Absolutely not. There are people on both the left and the right who seem to think that taking offence is some sort of debate winner, but they're not the majority in either camp. Most of us understand that taking offence contributes nothing to any debate. It just demonstrates our own inadequacy. Political discourse is all about opposing views. If we get offended by someone else's opinion, then maybe politics isn't the arena for us. This is true whatever our political leanings and affiliations may be. What does it mean to be offended? I'm always puzzled by people who take offence. I can understand it in children. They haven't yet learned about the diversity of opinion in the world, and they don't yet understand that different people have different opinions, even different opinions about them. I get that kids think it's important for everyone to like them and to agree with them. It's exquisitely personal when the people we rely upon to keep us safe, and kids rely on all sorts of people to keep them safe, seem to go off message. Even worse, maybe it's us who are off message, and the caregiver might stop protecting us. Differences of opinion are scary for kids, and getting offended is an emotional response to the fear of abandonment that comes from that vulnerable, dependent state. So I understand why children get offended so easily, but adults? So far as I can tell, some adults take offence when other people say something they disagree with, especially but not exclusively when the other person says something about them or about something that they hold dear. But so what? The world is full of people who disagree with me. Occasionally I meet them, especially if I go looking for them online or at political rallies or demos. If there's one place guaranteed to put you in contact with people who disagree with you, it's a demo. You already knew you would meet people who disagreed with you, so why upset yourself emotionally when you do? What on earth did you expect to happen? And that's all that taking offence means, to be upset. To actively choose to upset yourself. Because some people hold a particular view and have the audacity to take advantage of their freedom of expression by saying so. When children get upset because people see the world differently, we think it's cute. When adults get upset because people see the world differently, we really ought to be asking them to grow up. Are we allowed to cause offence? Well, I bloody hope so. If not, nobody would be able to argue with anyone about anything for fear of causing offence. I know creationist Christians who think it's offensive when I suggest that the human body isn't perfect. They get offended on God's behalf because I have the audacity to criticise his divine handiwork. And criticise it I will. Not because I think God made a bad job of it. I don't think there is a God in the first place. But because I'm very well aware how very inefficient and ridiculously vulnerable the human body is. Surely it's okay to say what you believe to be true, isn't it? A vicar I know once tried to shut me down when I explained that priests aren't exactly good moral role models by saying I was being offensive. But I wasn't. I was simply introducing a factual parameter into an ongoing debate about the clergy as moral guides. The truth is that morality and ethics advance in the secular world first, often with opposition from the church. Think about abortion laws or gay rights. Society gets better and then the church catches up. The evidence directly contradicted this person's claim, and so they got offended. And that's the real issue about taking offence. Some people think that taking offence will somehow win them the argument. They think that taking offence somehow disqualifies uncomfortable facts or inconvenient evidence, but it doesn't. They think that the other person will be driven away by their moral outrage, and that they'll lose all credibility because of their callous disregard for the offended person's hurt feelings. But actually the opposite is true. When we claim offence as though it's actually part of a reasonable argument, we show ourselves to be the snowflakes we really are. Even worse, people who deserve the epithet snowflake make it harder for the rest of us to make a reasoned case without being accused of the same snowflake mentality. I'm no snowflake, and I'm far from easily offended, but when certain groups of my left-wing compatriots use taking offence as though it's a weapon, they undermine me and every other left-winger in the eyes of both the right and the left. Please stop it. Stop it now. Should we be allowed to cause offence? Hell yes. Of course we should be allowed to cause offence. If we weren't, we'd all be terrified to discuss anything more important than what we want for lunch, for fear of offending some irrelevant bystander. There is nothing wrong with causing an offence, largely because we don't cause offence. Offence is taken. If a person insults me, they're merely demonstrating their own mean-spiritedness. That's nothing to do with me, and it doesn't demonstrate anything I should be offended by. They're demeaning themselves, not me. Why should I care if someone insults me? Even less, why should I care if they have a different opinion from me? Isn't that what makes life interesting? If they incite violence or discrimination, they should be prosecuted. But even then, that prosecution can go ahead just as easily without you exclaiming how offended you are. If they haven't incited violence or discrimination, then what's the problem? We're all allowed our opinions. I'm sure many right-wingers are offended by the things I say. If not, they only need to subscribe to this channel and watch the coming videos. For pity's sake, people, stop pretending to be offended by other people when really you're just naive about the fact that the world doesn't have to agree with you. Grow up. Stop giving the left wing a bad name. Snowflake.